Hi there. Welcome to episode 5 of the Social Business Engine. I'm your host, Bernie Borges. I'm really excited to bring you part 2 of my interview with Todd Forsyth. Todd is Vice President of Conversation Marketing at EMC, a recognized global leader in cloud computing and big data solutions. My co-host and sponsor of this episode is Liz Brigham. Liz is Senior Product Marketing Manager at Jive Software. In part 1, we learned about EMC's conversation marketing strategy and how external advocacy has resulted in an 8% share of voice and positive ROMI, return on marketing investment. In part 2, you'll learn how their internal advocacy program has resulted in 6% share of voice and positive impact on ROMI. And now let's get to part 2 of my interview with Todd Forsyth from EMC. Todd, we just discussed your external advocacy program with really impressive results. Let's talk about your internal community and how you set that up and what your goals have been.
Sure. So we set up our internal community, Bernie, about 5 years ago. And what we've done is we've recognized the value of advocacy with our external community members. And we have 48,000 employees strong across EMC Corporation. And what we embarked on doing this past year is looking at how do we turn our employees into brand advocates. So we have essentially employee brand advocates. And we leverage the Jive platform, and recognizing that the industry statistic is that your employees will have as much as 10 times the number of followers as your branded accounts. We thought it was really important to begin to leverage our employees to have conversations in the marketplace about our brand, product, and solutions. So we use the Jive platform to deliver social-ready content to our employees so they can engage in the conversation. And what we found is that for any given initiative, our employees can account for upwards of 6% of our social share of voice.
Todd, this sounds like a really robust operation and organization that you've rolled out. If I'm starting from scratch, where do I start? How do I prioritize all these different aspects?
So what we did was we started out simple. So in terms of turning our employees into advocates, we made social as simple as possible. So leveraging the Jive platform as an example, it was as easy as pressing a button for our employees to launch a conversation in the marketplace. And where we're going on our journey now is as our employees are becoming more sophisticated, we are introducing training around social copywriting. Next week, as an example, we're launching EMC Social Media University, which will have about 20 courses ranging from social copywriting to branded account management. So that's going to be an important step in our journey.
Todd, the social employee concept within the concept of your conversation marketing is really an important one, at least in my view it is. So now that you've done this and you've got all this 20/20 hindsight, is there anything that you might have done differently to either accelerate adoption or just maybe achieve different results?
Yeah, that's a great question, Bernie. Very similar to our external-facing community, I would have engaged our executives earlier in our journey. One of the things that we found relative to employee advocacy is when our executives engage, what we find is they really ignite conversation, and their share of voice in the conversation is highly influential. So if I were to kind of rewind the clock, I really would have started with building our executive profiles in social marketplace first, and then engaging our employees, where we really started by engaging our employees and then building the profiles for our executives.
Todd, could you speak a little bit to how this is changed from a cultural perspective inside EMC and whether it's helped you attract or retain especially younger talent that's coming into the marketplace right now?
Yes, so what we've realized is that to be socially externally, you need to be socially internally. So the collaboration platform is the same collaboration platform that we leverage for our external customers. So we leverage the same internal and external platform. That's really critical. And again, social internal equals social external, but it's really created a lot more of a transparent environment, a much more collaborative environment. And certainly when you look at the millennials, they're used to collaboration. So as millennials come into the corporation, we have the tools, the technology, and the processes that they're used to.
Todd and Liz, I want to remind our audience that the full case study of your conversation marketing strategy is available for download at thesocialbusinessengine.com/EMC. Well, Todd, I want to ask you one final question. What advice would you have for organizations that are embarking on this social business conversation marketing strategy?
It's a loaded question, and it's a very broad question. I think going back to the question that Liz asked, I would start very, very simple. And I would start by listening to your customers and understanding the watering holes where your customers are at, what they're talking about, how they think about your brand and your products. And only through listening can you engage in discussion. So the way that I've kind of looked at it over the years is listen, engage, and then act. And that's the advice that I would give any business, which is start with listening, then engage in the conversation. But it's really important that you take action on the conversations you have with the customers.
Terrific. That's great advice. Well, Todd, thank you very much. Liz, thank you very much for being on the Social Business Engine to share this terrific social business success story with our audience. Well, that concludes my interview with Todd Forsyth from EMC and Liz Brigham from Jive Software. Who wouldn't be impressed by a total of 14% share of voice from EMC's conversation marketing strategy? Todd's impressive social business story is an example of what's possible when you combine strategic planning with social business technology from Jive Software. To read the full EMC case study, go to socialbusinessengine.com/EMC to download a write-up that you can share with your peers. And if you're not subscribed to our show, just go over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/socialbusinessengine. And if you want to listen to each episode while you're mobile, you can find our podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. And of course, the podcast is also called The Social Business Engine. Until next time, this is Bernie Borges, wishing you continued success on your social business journey. So long for now.